Hi everyone, welcome to my home. Okay, so what we're gonna go over today, get it ready. All right, the volume of triangular prisms. So we're sort of finished with surface area and we're gonna start prisms. All right, so the first thing we need is a formula. So I'm gonna write my formula. Now I'm gonna put volume formula. So my formula is going to be volume equals, because we're looking for volume. And we're going to write a big B and an H. So this big B, that's the area of the base. Since we're working with triangular prisms, our base is going to be a triangle. So I'm going to put a little triangle over my base. All right, so let's try some examples. So the first one we're going to do, well, what I'm really going to do is I'm going to draw all of my prisms. That way I can get that out of the way. So let me go ahead and draw it first. Let's see, I'm going to put a triangle. And then from here, I'm going to put a line down. And then start another triangle. And then from here, a line up. And a line up. That's the easiest way I know how to draw them. Okay, my second prism, it's gonna look like a tent. So I'm going to have a triangle. And then another triangle. And then I'm gonna connect them. So these go here, these go here, these go here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Hey, that looks good enough. Okay, my last one. It's gonna be like the first one. So I'm gonna draw a triangle, draw a line down, another triangle, line up, and the top. Okay, so there are my three prisms. So let's go ahead and, well, starting with this one, we're gonna add some measurements. So over here, this side is gonna be 8. And then on the second one, this long side right here is gonna be 14. The triangle, my base of my triangle is going to be 8. And the height of my triangle is going to be 3. So I'll put a little arrow so it won't look too busy. Okay, 3. So that's my second triangle. Okay, so let's go back to my first triangle and then start finding the volume. All right, for this one, my measurements for the base of my triangle, it's going to be 12. The height of my triangle is going to be 4. And this part, this side right here is going to be 10. Okay, so let's write out our formula for number 1. For number 1, I'm finding the volume. Volume equals the area of my base times the height of the prism. And again, I'm going to put a triangle over the B, the big B. Okay, so volume equals, see if you remember the area of a triangle, the formula for the area of a triangle. If you guess base times height over 2, you're correct. So this is just the area of my base. All right, so then to that, I'm going to multiply my height of my prism. Say hi to Pickle. That's my cat, Pickle. Okay, So area of my base times the height of my prism. So area of my base times the height of my prism. So if you need to, what you're going to do is you're going to get a highlighter. I should have done this before. You're going to get a highlighter and highlight the bases. So that way you know what area you're looking for. So area of my base times the height of my prism. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug all my numbers in. I'm looking at the area of my base, so this triangle. My base is 12, my height is 4. So I'm going to multiply 12 times 4, and I'm going to divide by 2. And the height of the prism itself is 10. So that's going to come over here, times 10. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply 12 times 4 is going to give me 48. And I'm going to divide that by 2. And I'm going to multiply by 10 by the height. Okay, so 48 divided by 2, that's going to give me 24. And I'm going to multiply that by 10. So if you multiply 24 times 10, that's going to give you 240. My cats got scared. 240 centimeters cubed, because we're finding volume now, so we're going into cubes. So that's how you find the volume. So you're going to take the area of your base times your height and then cube your units. Well, I guess you would know they're centimeters, so let's add some centimeters into there. Okay. So that was number 1. So let's go to number 2. So for number 2, we're going to highlight our bases first. Maybe that will be a little helpful if you want to try to do it by yourself. So stop shaking. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my bases. So remember, your bases are your rectangles if you have a rectangular prism. But since we have a triangular prism, my bases are going to be the triangles. So I'm going to highlight my triangles to remind myself that those are my bases. All right, so my formula again, I'm going to find volume equals the area of my base, so the area of this triangle, times the height of the prism. Okay, so we're going to put base times height divided by 2, because that's our area of our triangle, times the height of the prism. So if you want to pause, try it, and then see if you get it right. Go ahead. What's the worst that can happen? You get it wrong, and you learn something. Okay. So pause right now if you want to try it. If you don't pause. Okay. So let's fill everything in. My triangle, I'm looking at my base, which is 8, times my height, which is 3. And I'm going to divide that by 2 because it's the area of a triangle. And I'm going to multiply that by the height of the prism, which is 14. I know it's kind of weird thinking of 14 as a height because it's laying down, but just pretend it's standing up. All right, so let's continue. 8 times 3 will give me 24 divided by 2 times 14. Okay. So 24 divided by 2 will give me 12. And I'm going to multiply by 14. And that is going to give me 168. And I forgot to put the measurements. Let's say we're inches. We're in inches. So our volume is going to be inches cubed. So volume is cubed. Inches cubed. All right. So that was number 2. Example number 2. Hopefully you got it. If not, that's okay. Okay, so we're going to do a last example. Example number 3. So for this one, it's going to be a little different. So again, I'm going to highlight my bases. My bases are triangles because it's a triangular prism. So I'm going to highlight my triangles. Okay. So I already put a measurement here. We're going to say it's 8 meters. All right, and we're going to write out a little word problem. This is going to be a little different. So my problem says, if the volume is 576 centimeters cubed. So we already have the volume. It's asking what is the area of the base. So this one we kind of had to work a little backwards. What's the area of the base? Okay, so they're giving us the volume. We have to work a little backwards to find the area of the base. So let's see how to do that. First, I'm going to write down my formula so I can know what to look for. So volume equals my area of the base times height. So I'm going to put my B in a triangle. That way my brain matches what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to start filling in everything else that I have. So I know that my volume is 576. So if I know my volume, where do you think I'm going to substitute that 576? Well, I'm going to put it here for V because that's my volume. So I'm going to put 576 equals the area of my base, because I don't know that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But I do know what the height of the prism is, right? So the height is this 8. So I know I'm going to multiply that by 8. So what I'm looking for is this area of the base, the big B. So now I ask myself, how would I solve for B? How do I get rid of my 8? How do I move it over to the other side? Well, I ask myself, what operation is going on? Well, B and 8 is being multiplied. So I have to do the opposite to move it. So I'm going to divide by the number that I want to move. So divide by 8. And if I do it to one side, I'm going to do it to the other side. So these 8s over here are going to cross out. And I'm left with just my B, which is what I wanted. Now I have to divide 576 into 8. So I'm going to do it over here on the side. Let's see if I have enough room. 576 divided by 8. Well, I know that 8 goes into 57 7 times. And that'll give me 56. I subtract and I get 1. Bring down my 6. I know 8 goes into 16 2 times, which gives me an even 0. Okay, so that means that the area of my base is 72 meters squared. So why is it squared instead of cubed? Well, because we're just looking for the area. Remember, area is squared, volume is cubed. So the area of this triangle is 72 meters squared. So if we wanted to check that, this is what we would actually do. We would take this 72 and this 8 and plug those into our formula here, and we should get 576 for our volume if you wanted to make sure that your answer was right. But that is the volume of a triangular prism. So in short, remember, your bases are always going to be triangles. Find the area of your triangle, multiply it by the height of your prism, and then you're going to get your volume.